Earth is a massive multiplayer game with an unlimited amount of minigames to choose from. In today's video, I will cover the reselling minigame and how you can exploit this system of reselling to earn the maximum amount of coins and points in this quest line. The first part to any game is the tutorial. However, the developers of Earth have not created any formal guides or tutorials for their player base. So instead, what is happening is that the players find themselves awkwardly stumbling around, figuring things out by themselves. Now, it might not be obvious, but there are 3 main quests that are part of the reselling quest line. The 3 quests are item acquisition, value transformation, and coin alchemy. They all earn you points in the game, but only the last quest will earn you any coins, any currency that you can then spend in game. Let's go through all of them so you understand how each of them work. During the item acquisition quest, the goal is to acquire in-game items. Acquiring any item will unlock the other 2 quests in the reselling quest line. And while there are multiple ways of acquiring items, most players choose to acquire items from other players. But be careful. Especially beginners in the reselling game make the mistake of spending far too many coins to acquire items. But if you find a good item, you're good to go to the other 2 quests. The next quest is the value transformation. Now, once the player has acquired an item, they can do manual transformation. The goal of manual transformation is to increase the quality and the value of the item. Now, the most common ways of doing manual transformation is either through repairing the item to its original quality or by cleansing the item. I have to give a little caveat here. This quest line is optional, and many beginner resellers, they skip this quest line. However, by skipping the quest line, you miss out on so many points and especially coins later down the road. So experienced resellers, they heavily advise to not skip this quest. After finishing the quests, the player unlocks coin alchemy. And this quest is the most interesting quest because it allows the player to convert their items into coins, into real in-game currency. And to convert items into coins, a player has to find another player to trade the item with. Now, this is very important because if they can't find another player to convert their items, then the quest fails and they have to dispose of the item without getting any in-game currency. Now, to avoid this, it is recommended to always get high quality items for this quest. Because if the player uses low quality items, the likelihood that they make it worth it is pretty low. But let's suppose you find somebody to trade with, then the quest is completed. And once the quest is completed and the player receives their coins, they can then use the newly acquired coins to repeat quest number 1. Item acquisition, value transformation, coin alchemy. This is a circle that the reselling minigame follows. However, there are a lot of hidden mechanics that players just don't know about. A big reason for that is that the user interface is non-existent. There is no UI. So the game doesn't tell you what you're doing wrong. You have to figure that out yourself. What happens then in the beginning is that a lot of the transformations might fail or give you less coins than you anticipated, and it's not really worth it. However, as you repeat the quest lines, your character attributes increase. Your skills get better, your attributes get better, your abilities get better, and what happens then is that you earn more coins and more points for the same effort. Here's an example for myself. I used to do the 9-to-5 quest line, but eventually I got so good at the reselling quest line that I quit the 9-to-5 quest line altogether. And now, my main source of in-game currency is the reselling minigame. However, there's also a few things that players use to make the reselling game more accessible and easier to play. Some experienced players, for example, create walkthroughs and guides, tutorials for new players. For example, there are YouTube channels such as this one that are dedicated to teaching the hidden game mechanics and also giving them new tools that they can use on their quests. For example, I have created an UI for the reselling game called AppReTrack. This one allows resellers to put in the items that they acquired, that they transformed, and that they use for coin alchemy. This way, people who are playing the reselling minigame know what items produce the most points and coins. Because in the end, you want to double down on the items that produce the highest amount of coins. This is how you get the highest score in the game. Finally, for a player to level up and win the reselling game, the player has to constantly improve their skills and abilities. And you gotta know, as the reselling minigame is infinitely repeatable, there is no concrete winning condition. The goal instead is to find the most profitable and the most enjoyable way to play the reselling game. And the same is also true for all other Earth's games. Make sure to subscribe to the channel because I make plenty of content for the reselling minigame. And thank you for watching.